It's 12:55 and 55 seconds, which means it's time for Night Drive. Welcome to Night Drive. I'm Horace Wexler. It is 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't know where you're headed to. I don't know where you're coming from. Maybe it was a sexy key party where you did a little bit of wife swapping. Seeing if the grass is greener on the other side, how the other half lives. Hey, I'm not going to judge, man. You live your life the way you want to live it. It's 1 a.m. There are no judgments right now. Maybe you're out in the swamps right now. Maybe you're doing a little night fishing, trying to catch all those night fish. Now's the time to catch them. 1 a.m. in the morning is when the night fish come out. We all know that here in South Florida. Just be careful out in those Everglades. They can be dangerous. A lot happened in Fakahatchee tonight. Maybe you're caught up on the latest gossip and you just want to weigh in, or maybe you don't know everything that happened. We'll catch you up, and we'll take your phone calls right after these community announcements. The Fakahatchee Framers Market would like to remind you it's not a typo. Find all your fresh frames every Sunday morning at the Fakahatchee Framers Market. Posters, art, and objets, they've got your framing needs covered. The Everglades Human Society would like to remind you, don't dump your grandmas. Grandmas can't survive in the wild after being raised in captivity, so when you let them go in the swamp, you're signing their death sentence. If you can no longer take care of your grandma, please bring them to us at the Everglade Human Society. We're a no-kill bingo parlor. Also, if you're looking for a new grandma, don't go to the grandma mills. Come see us. Some of our grandmas are a little older, but they've still got a lot of love to give. Now with those out of your way, here's what we're talking about tonight. Duck Winters. You know Duck Winters, he owns the Gator farm out on Interstate 60. Duck has just announced plans for a second Gator farm next to Beauregard Elementary School. I'm Horace Wexler. I want to hear what you're thinking out there, just like this caller right now.
Hi there, Horace. My name is Gabby Ivanhoe. I'm with the Fakahatchee Wildlife Society.
I bet you have a lot of thoughts about the Gator farm.
I do, because it's my understanding that they want to put this Gator farm right next to an elementary school?
Yeah, the lot that's proposed right now is right next to Beauregard Elementary School.
Okay, well, what I don't understand is why nobody has realized why this is such a terrible idea. Horace, can I ask you a question? Did you ask any of the alligators to call in and give their opinions?
No, Gabby.
You didn't, Horace, and neither did anyone else, and I think that's part of the problem. No one's thinking about the alligators in all this.
Well, it sounds, Gabby, like you're thinking of the alligators in all this. Maybe you can be the voice of the Gators.
Apparently, someone needs to be. And look at it this way. Have you ever been on a diet, Horace?
Yeah, I'd have a face for radio and a body for radio to match.
How would you feel if someone opened up a hamburger stand right across the street from your house?
Well, I'll tell you, Gabby, I'm looking at an Arby's right now, and it is the hardest thing in my whole damn life.
Okay, well, now let's think about it this way. From the alligator's perspective, they're sitting there in an enclosure behind chain link, looking at these children. They're being fed a diet of raw chicken. How do you think it must feel to those alligators to look across and see those children running around?
Yeah, Gabby,
morsels.
I'd never thought of that.
Yes, these alligators have to sit there and they'll have to watch these children gallivant. These children are obese. They're waddling around. An alligator, Horace, is an apex predator. These alligators are going to have to smell these children, look at these children.
So, Gabby, are you implying that this is some form of torture for the alligators, that they're having to smell all these fat little children?
Well, torture is a strong word, but unfortunately, yes, that's absolutely accurate. This is a form of torture to these alligators.
Now, if they were to move it somewhere else, say to a different elementary school, an elementary school that didn't celebrate Candy Tuesdays, would that be better or would that be just as bad?
Well, what you have then is a bunch of physically fit children running quickly at recess. They work up a sweat, and those pheromones come off those kids. When those alligators get a whiff of that, they're going to be going wild. chomping at these fences. It's just cruel.
I see. Yeah, I'd never thought of it like that, Gabby.
No, unfortunately, I don't think many people have, and that's part of the problem.
And you're with the Fakahatchee Wildlife Society, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Well, what are you guys doing to change the course of how this vote plays out?
We're trying to get the alligator farm put in somewhere where they can be free from this temptation and this constant deluge of running meat chunks across their line of sight. We started a program recently with another alligator farm where we're teaching the alligators to wrestle. Mm-hmm. It helps them blow off steam. They can, because you put these alligators in this enclosure, they don't get any exercise. All they do is sit around in the water. You've got to get those alligators moving.
Gabby, I have sort of a strange proposal, and I don't know if this is absolutely wild or just out of the question, but would this be any better whatsoever if the Gators were blind?
If the Gators were blind, I think it might help just a little bit. They still have their sense of smell, which is still going to be a problem. But if they were blind, I hadn't thought about that, Horace. I wonder if anyone could fashion some sort of alligator blindfold only to be taken off at feeding times.
I think that might be the answer to your dilemma, as it were. If this goes ahead, maybe that's something that the Fakahatchee Wildlife Society could maybe put jars at the local Piggly Wigglies and 7-Elevens to collect money for.
Oh, take up donations. That might be a fine idea. I'm not sure who would design the alligator blindfolds. I'm not much of a seamstress myself, and I'm not sure how you would get the blindfolds to go around the gator's eyes without having to go underneath the snout. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But then again, is that really an issue if they're going to come off at feeding time?
Well, the problem is someone has to take those blindfolds off those alligators. And I don't know about you, Horace, but I'm not going to be first in line for that job.
Me either, Gabby. Well, thanks for calling. We hope you keep listening. We hope we'll talk to you soon.
Hi, I'm Robard Crumbler, manager at Crumbler Farms. For the past 90 years, it has been my family's pride to offer your family fair produce at a fair price. Like these braised Szechuan chumblers for only $2.50 a pound. Try those chumblers the way my family likes them, dipped in Smiling Gay Rouge Drizzlings. It's just $2.25 a bottle. As a kid, I remember smiling ear to ear when the chassberries came into season. They're just $1.25 a handful. What a steal. You're practically stealing from us. I'm calling the cops. Just kidding. The cops are already here to get our honey roasted chaunch at $2.87 a shell. Crumbler Farms, where the only 5-0 was in the 50% sticker on yesterday's Porter's Breath. So rank the way you like. Crumbler Farms, we're the grocery store closest to the airport.
Again, that number to call in is 305-209-9686. I want to talk to you. My producer is waving to me right now. Apparently, we've got Duck Winters. Duck, of course, being the Gator farmer who got this on the ballot in the first place. Duck, how are you tonight?
How you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good that you're doing good. I'm doing good, too.
So, Duck, a lot of people, I got to say, so far, more people have been against this Gator farm next to the elementary school than have been for it. What do you say to those people?
Yeah. I say they're probably jealous because they didn't think of it first. I mean, a Gator farm, it's a moneymaker. And when you're making money, people are jealous of the fact that you're making money. So they're going to want you to stop to doing whatever you're doing so they can start doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. People are jealous of me all the time.
I mean, people love farmers, all right? Anytime anyone runs for office, what do they talk about? Russia and farmers, okay? Yeah. So Gator farmer, that's a different kind of farmer. My harvest instead of corn is just, family fun activities.
I think what people are having a hard time sort of wrapping their head around is just the fact that these gators are going to be in such close proximity to these children.
Yeah.
Can you put any sort of positive spin on that? Because I know the Fakahatchee Wildlife Society, they're all up in arms.
Let me answer your question by posting another question. Do you realize how much gas costs right now?
Gas is very expensive.
And the point is that when you're on a weekend and you want to go out for a family trip, sometimes you have to drive 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 miles? Even kilometers.
Miles. Okay, yeah,
kilometers
kilometers is closer than miles.
Or can walk from the school with your child, right? And which is a green mode of transportation, I might add, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you could walk to a farm, which has a farmer, and the kids, first of all, I mean, I've seen kids go to normal farms, and let me just tell you, the look of disappointment on their face is palpable. When you take a kid to a gator farm, let me tell you something. He loses his goddamn mind, okay? You better put a search party together to find it, because that thing is out of his head. A gator farm? Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm here and I'm getting freaked out.
I got to agree with you, at least on some level, Duck. I took my nephew out to one of the farms out in the Glades, and he was so disappointed to see that it was nothing but plants, and obviously those plants weren't doing anything. So it was a very boring day.
Let me tell you something about your nephew. He sounds cool as hell, and I'm willing to offer you 10% off this Saturday, not only for you, but also to any of your listeners right now. You come on down this Saturday to the old Duck Winters Gator Farm, I'll get you in.
That's a hell of a deal, Duck. Let's take this call, and then we'll pick right back up with you. Caller, go ahead.
Yo, Horace, long time, first time. My name's Pete.
Hey, how are you, Pete?
Look, Horace, I went to an elementary school that was right next to an alligator farm, and them crocodiles was whack as shit. Somebody got to think about this, though. You can't put that alligator farm next to that school, because you know what those kids will do. Those kids will do what me and my friends did. We stood there next to that fence. We straight up pissed on them gators' heads. It was funny as hell, but I ain't proud of it.
I'm sure Duck Winters would like to keep his gators pee-free. I don't know if he's thought about the sort of trouble he might be in.
Yeah, man, gators are smelly as hell already. You get some kid pee on their heads? Oh, no, man. Y'all, it's bad news, Horace. They can't put that farm there.
We're back with Duck Winters.
Hey, Horace.
Hey, Duck. So right before you put us on hold, which is really unusual for a NightDrive.
I got some Spanish gators that might be coming in, which just between you, me, and the lamppost is totally illegal. Okay. What is gonna be? I'll tell you one thing, it's cool as hell.
Well, that's really exciting. So you gave us a hell of a deal, 10% off. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Will these Spanish gators be there for us to see?
Well, I don't know. You know, that's the thing. I mean, I might be getting them on a low-end price because there have been some maulings in the past, but those have only been to other Spanish people, so I'm not too worried about that.
But I think the point that you were making before you essentially gave us a verbal coupon was that this is going to be an educational thing for the children. Is that right?
Well, heck yeah, it's going to be educational. I mean, listen, the best way to learn is hands-on. And everybody knows that. I mean, you can sit in a classroom, you can look at a chalkboard, you can have your teacher talking at you all day, but they ain't going to learn you anything. The best way to learn how to fix a car is to actually go and work on a car. All right, the best way to learn about the animal kingdom is to actually see the animal kingdom. And who better to learn it from than the king of lakes and rivers and streams, but gators.
There is no more regal beast of the Everglades than the king of freshwater, the alligator.
You know what? I've just been calling it gators all these years. I just realized that gators is short for alligators. Isn't that something?
You learn something every day, Duck.
I never even put that two together. Man, whew, still got a lot to learn.
Now, what do you say to those that say that you shouldn't put the gators next to the elementary school because the kids are going to pee on them?
Well, oh, man, listen, okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen. One kid is going to pee on that gator, and it will never happen again, okay? Because sometimes life teaches you a lesson. You touch a hot stove, burns you. You ain't never going to touch a hot stove again, okay?
That's true. That's true.
You know, and people might say, no, that's rough. Well, yeah, but, you know, huh?
Well, Duck, it's been great talking to you this evening. I certainly hope that this goes through for you personally. On a civic level, I'm still...
Me too, man. Me too.
Well,
I mean,
of course.
I got to tell you, if this doesn't go through, can I be honest with you? Like, I don't know if you can just shut this off to everybody else listening right now, but I just want to say, like, if this doesn't go through, I owe so much money to so many people, and... my God, it's a good thing I got my buddy Braybon. He's, you know him. He's on the city council. We used to play badminton together.
Yeah. Richard Basebon.
Yeah, Richard Basebon's a good guy. I've known him for a long time, so he's going to help me push this Gator farm through, which is kind of like a good thing. But you can kick it back on to your listeners now. I was just talking to you because I know we have a special relationship.
Yeah.
Yep, I have a 10% off to everybody who wants to come down. That's fine with me.
Well, I think you're going to have a very busy weekend at, what are you going to call your first Gator farm now? You going to call it a Gator Prime, or?
Oh, that's fun. I like that. I was just going to call it Duck Winters Gator Farms. Name's Duck, but my game's Gators. But that kind of feels long to put on a piece of paper. Yeah, I mean, I was going to let the name speak for itself. I mean, I decided to put it right next to the kids because I just felt like, I don't know, man. If I was a kid, I think that would be cool as hell. My nephew in California, you know what his school's next to?
What's that?
A wind farm.
Well,
a wind farm. Now, doesn't that sound like the saddest farm? Oh, come on, help out. We got to go harvest the wind. Oh, my, I mean, I just started crying when he told me that. A wind farm? So I was like, man, I want to get a gator farm because I've always wanted to be a farmer because I'll be honest, I look pretty good in overalls.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought corn was kind of a boring harvest. But you know what is kind of a fun harvest? Gators, because they'll bite back. So you really earn it.
Thanks, Duck Winners, and we'll see who the next caller is right now.
Hey, Horace, see you Saturday for 10% off.
Absolutely,
10% off,
Duck.
$7.
Absolutely.
That's almost 60 cents.
Duck, I hope you keep all your digits. Thanks for calling our digits. Our digits right now are 305-209-9686. I want to talk to you just like I want to hear from Kyle. Kyle, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, hi, hey, you, you can hear me right now?
Yes, Kyle, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hi, my name's Kyle Jeffs. I literally just kind of got over to the station and was flipping through, and I think you guys are talking about Gators, but I am trying to get back to I-10, Interstate 10.
Oh yeah, I-10. I know that pretty well. That's actually out by Duck Winter's first Gator farm. So if you're there, you can just take a right past his swamp, and then you'll be right there on I-10. But what do you think about him building a second Gator farm, Kyle?
Wait a second. Okay, so this one isn't the one that he wants to build. That's not the one that's by Interstate 10. I mean, I really don't know if he's got the permits. I guess that's fine.
Even though it's next to Beauregard Elementary School, you as an outsider think that would be perfectly okay.
Oh, well, no, of course. I mean, I don't know. Things are next to other things all the time. Like roads are next to interstates initially when you get off of them, but if the Gators are behind fences and the kids aren't crazy, isn't that
well? It's
fine?
It's a free range Gator farm, so there is like one fence to keep them in, but then they've got all that room to roam around in and just be happy. Nobody likes to eat caged gator, Kyle. I know you're sort of passing through Fakahatchee. Here we like to practice humane gator raising.
I mean, that's a little crazy, right? Because they're gators. Don't gators kill like more people than most animals put together?
No, not any more than sharks or an animal with a gun. We've had a few of those, actually. There was a nasty one last year where a helper monkey got a hold of a man's firearm, shot him dead.
But was that because the gun store was too close to where this man lived, or was that did somebody just give the monkey a gun?
No, I mean, the monkey found a gun. Obviously, It wasn't secured. It was the man's fault, but the monkey is now in jail.
Hey, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just passed like a Fillmore Street, which I think is near the school. do you have any idea if that was on my right, am I headed north?
I'm going to tell you the secret about Florida, and the secret about Florida is if you want to leave, you go north in a car. If you want to go south, you need a boat. It's as easy as that.
Okay, then I guess. Okay, then I'm going north.
But the trick dark with Fakahatchee is there's no exit to the 10 to the north. So what you want to do is go south.
Right. Okay, so turn back around. That's just going to take me right back to that.
Kyle, I'm going to take another caller, and we'll come back to you. Richard Baisbon with the City Council. Richard,
hey.
How are you this evening?
Well, good morning, Horace, for one. I'm doing well. I just want to call in because, I start my day early. Start my day at 12:30 in the a.m. Get out there, get my things done before I drive into the city council.
Absolutely.
So I was listening to your program, and I noticed there's a lot of information flying around about this gator farm that my good friend Duck is trying to get done over there by Beauregard.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't real happy about this, Richard. A lot of people are for it, but it mostly seems like people who are directly related to the Gator farm.
I believe that supporting this Gator farm is the right thing to do, and I'll tell you why right now.
Please, go ahead.
Those children, they need to learn. And now I've said that in a threatening way to a child before, that he needs to learn, but that's not what I mean in this context, all right?
Okay.
Horace, what I mean here is that these children need to have the opportunity to learn about the great alligator of the state of Florida, which is, may I remind you, one of our primary sources of income. It's a source of income in form of tourism. It's a source of income in the form of gator skin belts and gator skin wallets and what have you.
Well, it's also the state reptile, so I understand where you're coming from.
You don't have to remind me, Horace, that it's the state reptile. I'm well aware, all right? There's another issue at play here, and, I want your listeners here on NightDrive to be the first to know, Horace.
Please. A NightDrive exclusive, everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'm dying. Horace, I'm dying, and I want this Gator farm to get built and be a legacy to me. And by God, if it's in you, maybe it becomes the Richard Baisbon Memorial Gator farm. But I don't know. I won't ask that of Duck. I just want to make sure it gets done, because I won't be able to move on to the next office and continue my career, because frankly, Horace, I'm not going to be here much longer.
Because you're being called up to a higher office.
Yes.
Is that what you call heaven?
Yes, indeed, Horace. I hope so. I hope I wind up right there in heaven. But I am dying, and it's important to me that this Gator farm get done.
Now, Richard, pardon me if I'm not shocked by this revelation, and all of our listeners aren't shocked by this as well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, this was your 2015 campaign slogan, "I'm dying, vote for me."
Well, yeah, but if you remember, there was a miraculous cure that occurred, and I was cured of the cancer that I had in 2015, but it has reemerged, and as I am very clearly dying, it's important.
You must be a wonder of natural science, sir, because your 2014 campaign slogan was, "I ain't got long left, please vote for me."
That is true, Horace, and at the time in 2014, that was also true. They had discovered an obstruction in my bowels, which they could not operate on. And I tell you, I was using prunes, I was on Bran, and it was painful. It was painful, and I was told that the prognosis was very bad. But I tell you what, I was out there on the campaign trail. I tripped. I fell double over on a wooden fence right there into the stomach and released everything.
It's very fortunate.
It cleared the obstruction, and doctors were baffled and amazed. And, to this day, I am still breathing because of that wooden fence.
I'm so happy that you're still with us, obviously. But my producer right here is reminding me as well of your 2013 campaign slogan, which is, "I'm checking out, ain't got long to live, I'm signing my will." It just kind of went on from there. It was a very long slogan.
Yeah, Horace, that is right. I did have that campaign slogan in 2013, and I'll tell you something right now. I was lying. I was not dying in 2013. That was a fib that I used to get elected, and I regret it every minute of every day. After that point, I feel like my work spoke for itself, and then I could just tell the truth from then on.
Well, let's get back to the Gator farm. So you're saying, again, sir, that you're dying.
I'm dying, and the Gator farm needs to happen next to Beauregard. Absolutely has to happen.
So you're hoping this will be what? Your legacy? This will be how people remember you instead of somebody who was miraculously cured a number of times.
Yeah, well, that's it. When people think of Dick Basebon, I want them to think of that Gator farm right there by Beauregard Elementary and what that's going to do for the children, how the children can learn.
What do you say to sort of the Teachers Association who have said enough is enough? Our kids know plenty about Gators. It's time to teach something else in our schools.
Horace, may I remind you that I was the one that helped set up the special elementary education program on Gators in 2014?
I do remember that.
Do you not recall this? Gators being learned about is the most important thing for a Floridian. You understand this?
Oh, yeah, I understand that absolutely. Sorry, I thought that went without saying.
Being that they are a lifeblood, a source of tourism, and a source of commerce, in the sense of gator, what have you, like gator leather, whatever that stuff is. Gator meat. It's always been gators. If you lived in Idaho, I guarantee you, your children are learning about potatoes 24/7, all the time.
I mean, I'm sure they're being hit over the head with potatoes just constantly.
And that's why it's a part of our identity, and it's an important part of our culture.
Okay.
That our children learn about these gators.
I'll give you
why I support Duck's Farm.
The Florida homegrown loyalty, gotta know what we are, grassroots approach to this. But what do you say to opponents of the Gator Farm that have pointed out that the true benefactor of this might be one Richard Basebon?
Well, if you're talking about getting my name on the farm after I pass from this sweet earth, that is maybe a nice benefit to have.
When tourists come to Fakahatchee, they come and they leave with what? A gator skin wallet.
Oh,
and if they don't leave with a gator skin wallet, they leave with some gator shoes or a bag made of gator leather with gator meat in their bellies. But where do those wallets come from, sir?
Well, one of our finest providers is our hometown hero, Duck Winters, whose Gator Farm will be providing these fantastic gator leather accessories and gator meats and all sorts of gator things. And I tell you what, it's a boon to Duck.
Yeah, it's a boon to Duck, but those tourists buy those wallets from Basebon Mercantile, do they not?
Oh, well, now we're getting to the heart of it, are we?
I'm just pointing out what some other people have been saying.
You know what? Basebon Mercantile has an exclusive distributor relationship with Duck Winters because we've been friends. We've been known to be out of town and have dinner together every now and again. But I don't see how that affects my support of the Gator Farm. I'm just all for the children learning, for goodness sake, Horace.
But all of that leather goes to Basebon Mercantile, does it not?
Well, I can't speak for all the leather. I know that they are our exclusive distributor, so I know that the only Gator leather I'm buying is straight from Duck. But I can't speak for Duck himself. It's not like Duck called me up and asked me to call in the radio show to help support the Gator Farm. I just happened to be up in the morning, all right?
No, of course not. That's absolutely ridiculous. But
that's crazy. That would be crazy.
But what about Going Gator, a Basebon restaurant, where it's nothing but gator meat on the menu? Like, there's not even vegetables, sir.
Right. Well, we are proud of our gator meat, supply, and we got to do something with that gator meat. Hold on a second. You know what? I think we might be out of time here, Horace. I don't know.
Of course. You're a very busy individual.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate the time, and I want to remind everybody that I am dying, and this Gator Farm is important, so they need to support it when it comes to the vote.
Richard, thank you so much for calling in. It's always a pleasure to have you. I hope you'll call back in the future.
Thanks, Horace. Appreciate it.
Richard Basebon is really pushing for that farm. Are you going to support the vote? I want to know. Call me up and tell me. That number is 305-209-9686. But right now, let's talk to Father Hurley with Our Lady of the Muddy Waters Catholic Church, who has a very interesting take on the whole situation based on Revelations chapter 32, verse 12. Oh, apparently he just hung up. Let's talk to whoever's on this line.
There's so many lanterns that hang on people's porches
it's a resident
that look
tourist,
like
Kyle
streetlights.
Jeffs.
I think that's why.
Where are you from, Kyle?
I'm from Arizona.
So deserts, we can agree that deserts are deadly, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you put a desert next to an elementary school?
Of course not. But otherwise, we put elementary schools in deserts. That's what Arizona is.
Well, how is that any better than putting a Gator Farm next to an elementary school? I mean, deserts are just as deadly. There's zero water there. There's scorpions. There's snakes.
But the deserts cannot be placed. They're already there. Comparing a climate to pretty much a dinosaur that's still alive is very different. Well, if I'm looking at just a wide open patch of, I guess it's so
Kyle,
hard.
we'll check back in with you in a second. Hey,
Hello?
caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You still got rooms available for the night? I'm looking for just a simple queen bed, non-smoking. If you guys got HBO, that would just be killer. And I'm a AAA.
Well, I have all of those in my house. I'm not technically a hotel, but if you're looking for a nice place to stay,
Is that like one of them Airbnb things?
Yeah, it's on VRBO, but it is very similar.
Cool. So, hey, do you have a room available or not?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not a hotel per se, but it's a clean room. It does have a bathroom, fresh towels. We have 1,000 count.
Why? Every time I
sheets.
try to get a room, there's always some weirdo trying to get me to come to his actual house. What is so weird?
Hey, Kyle, you still there?
Yep, definitely still here and staring just right at these Everglades. I turned around, but it's like I didn't, and I'm so frustrated. Is there a street that just takes you right to 10?
Well, Kyle, my phones are flashing here. I'm going to try to get some more callers in here.
I'm at a roundabout, and I don't...
Oh, no, if you're in Jefferson's roundabout, that was a unfortunate city council proposal. It's a roundabout that essentially dead ends. The only way back out of the roundabout is the way you came in.
All right, okay. I'll probably call back if that's all right, because this doesn't seem to make sense to me, and I think I'm just going to end up back where I started.
Absolutely, Kyle. We'd love to hear from you. This is Horace Wexler. I want to hear from you, especially if you're not hungry. But if you are hungry and you're looking for a late-night meal or maybe just a late-night snack, why not try Hank's Old Arby's that's not really an Arby's? They may have lost their franchise rights and can't legally call it Arby's, but Hank's Old Arby's that's not really an Arby's is packing meat into mouths all night long. Arby's may have the meats, but Hank's Old Arby's that's not really an Arby's physically possesses meat too, and they are just as willing to sell it to you. Why not try my favorite sandwich, the roast beefer with horse and around sauce, which is a totally original creation. Hank's Old Arby's that's not really an Arby's. It's 100% just exactly like an Arby's, except not legally an Arby's. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the proposed second Gator farm next to Beauregard Elementary School. I'm going to take another caller right now, but I want to hear your call right after this. Caller, go ahead.
Hello, thank you for taking my call. I just want to say Gators are against Jesus.
Well, that's a very interesting point of view.
You can't have more than one Gator farm. It's against Jesus.
Okay. But, that's something that we may not have considered here on NightDrive. I want to hear from you. The number is 305-209-9686. You're listening to NightDrive. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, hey, this is Kyle.
Oh, hey, it's Kyle again.
Yeah, hi. So I am out of that roundabout, and now I'm on a dirt road that I haven't ever seen. I've been driving around here in the same circle for 3 hours. Dirt roads are private property. Is that safe to assume?
Dirt roads are private property unless they haven't been incorporated by the county. Now, only 2% of the roads in Fakahatchee County have been incorporated by Fakahatchee City, and those will be paved.
Got it. I'm just going to back up. I'm just going to get off.
Well, Kyle, I wish you all the best, and I hope to hear from you again in the future. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Night Drive. Tonight, we're talking about a second Gator farm going next to the Beauregard Elementary School. I've got Archie on the line. Archie, how are you feeling about this?
Well, thank you for taking my call, first of all. Horace.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Well, listen, man, I ain't too happy about no Gator farm next to that elementary school.
No, why's that?
Well, I tell you what, I'm actually calling from the very spot where that Gator farm is going to be right now. It's kind of my spot. Mm-hmm. You might call it.
You're calling from that plot of land.
I'm literally sitting in that plot of land. Yes, sir.
Wow. So if that vote passes, you would be standing balls deep in Gators.
I feel as though I am an underserved member of this community.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody don't think about me, because I tell you what. There's a perfectly good little playground. right there, full of kids, always playing. You know how kids do. It's an elementary school.
Yeah, kids enjoy themselves.
They play in their recess. You know, they're having a good time out there. And right next to that elementary school playground, there's a row of hedge.
Mm-hmm.
And right behind that row of hedge is me. Mm-hmm. And right behind me is a grove of trees.
Absolutely. Right? That mangrove.
So there's a hedge in front of me, a grove of trees behind me. And let me tell you, that vantage point, looking at them kids playing their recess, I ain't never going to find a better vantage point than that.
Well, that just sounds... I was going to say that sounds lovely, but you're just watching the kids from between trees and bushes. Is that correct?
Well, that is absolutely correct, yes. And what am I going to do? Watch some kids between gators and bushes? That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to be no good at all.
Yeah, I could see how that would be problematic.
Problematic, to say the least. Now, let me tell you something about this spot, though. This spot is so good, all right? You know, I got a little spot there for me set down. There's a tree stump, old tree stump there that's just about as high as a normal chair would be.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little hole cut out there in the hedge so I can peep right through that hedge. Can't nobody see me from the other side.
Uh-huh.
Right?
So it's sort of like the locker room from Porky's.
It's exactly like the locker. Thank you. Finally. I've been saying that for years. Nobody be listening to me. But behind me, look, if anybody want to come sneaking up behind me, I'm going to hear them coming through that grove of trees, right? And if I see anybody come running up just thinking they spot me, you know, I don't know. You know, sometimes the sun reflects off of the binoculars. You can't control that kind of thing. Sometimes they see you up there. But I can book it straight back into that grove of trees. There's a couple trees fell over, you know, creates a couple little hollers underneath that, underneath them trees. Good spots to hide in case you need to hide real quick. And let me tell you, I've been to other elementary schools in the area. There is nothing quite like the ability to hide from would-be pursuers as a peeper at that elementary school. That's why this Gator farm can't happen. Cannot be allowed.
I have to say, Archie, I feel like you might be on the right side of the argument, but for probably all the right reasons. Or wrong reasons, excuse me.
Calling Dr. Freud, I think he was right the first time. You know, I think I made my case pretty clear. But listen, man, I've been sitting there for years in this spot. You know, they're fifth graders now that I've been peeping on since they're first graders.
Well, see, that seems very sweet to me. That's almost.
I'm so
I guess you could skew it as very fatherly.
Yeah, well, I suppose. I mean, that's a little weird. I don't want to be a father looking at my own kids. That's a little. You're a little weird there. You know, it ain't just me neither. You know, I tell you what. One time. Man, I had to make a quick getaway, right? Because some people saw the glass of my binoculars through the hedge. You know, like I said, nothing you can do about that. I had to make a quick getaway back into them grove of trees. And, you know, there's a lot of those hollows underneath the trees that have been falling over there. You know, I'll keep a thermos of soup or something under there just in case I need to hide for a while. I can just hide out, you know, eat the soup till the coast is clear.
Sip your soup? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. But I went under there, and man, I tell you what, if it wasn't somebody else's soup that I was eating while I was hiding.
Somebody else's soup was in the holler.
Well, yeah, I mean, because, well, for one thing, I'm not really a bisque man. You know, I mean, I'm a chunky soup kind of guy. You know, this was a tomato bisque. I mean, it was tasty if you're into tomato bisque, but, you know, that's not me. Point is, wasn't my soup, wasn't my thermos, all right? So it's not just my spot. There is a community of peoples that love this spot. And you're going to put a gator farm right there next to all them kids playing all their recess and braiding each other's hair and playing their grab ass off to the side there, the kickball games. You know, you're gonna put a gator farm next to that.
Well, Archie, I don't know how to break it to you, but it really looks like this is going through unless you can organize this community of peepers to really get something going. I really think this gator farm's going to happen.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I tell you what, that's exactly why I'm calling. All right? You look, I can't exactly be a public face of this community. None of us are going to be a public. Listen, nobody can know I'm there, but everybody got to know I'm there. You know what I'm talking about? Because this thing cannot happen. All right? We can't exactly meet at the YMCA, you know. I mean, although we have before. But listen, there's a reason I don't know whose suit that was. Well, we're going to peep together? I mean, we ain't friends exactly. So listen, I call in. I need you to get the word out to the rest of the peepers. Get them all down here. Get one of them pieces of paper with all our signatures on it. I'll sign. That's fine. I don't know. But listen, we got to make this stop. All right?
Absolutely.
I'm in a unique position myself. I can't exactly make it stop myself.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you can. I mean, you on the radio. You can do something.
Well, Archie, you're on the radio right now. I'm not sure that I'm going to stick my neck out and try to raise an army of peepers to fight this thing. But, maybe some fellow peepers will hear your voice here on the radio and show up. And I don't know, are you going to meet between the hedge and the copse of trees? Is that the plan?
Well, I tell you what, if maybe, maybe we can leave notes to each other in our thermoses of soup that we leave in the hidey hole. Maybe that'd be the best way. You know what? I tell you what, I'll think on it. And you make a good point. If us peepers are going to fight for our own rights, we're going to have to fight for them ourselves.
Well, Archie, this has been a very enlightening phone call. Thank you for calling in. I sincerely hope that you get your army of peepers together, but at the same time, I hope that never happens.
Well, I feel like it's 50-50.
Well, eat with your eyes, not with your hands.
See, I'm glad to know. You make me feel good. You know where we're coming from.
Archie, you sound charming. I hope you'll call back.
I'm sure I will. Long nights out here.
Wait a minute. Are there children out there right now?
No, but I gotta claim the spot before the other peepers get here with they soup.
Oh, I got it. So you show up late at... I'm just trying to figure out how this works.
Sure.
Because I didn't realize that
got
this
questions,
was like
I got answers, friend.
U2 tickets or something where you needed to camp out, get your soup in a hidey hole. You're waiting for what? The morning bell? Is that what's happening?
I am waiting for the line of parents in their minivans and their luxury sedans. Because that's the other thing. This is a nice neighborhood. All these kids are good looking.
Yeah.
All right. So look. I'm out here. I got to find a good spot. I got to find. Not only do I have to find a good spot for me, right in front of the little hole that I carved out in the hedge, but I got to put all my thermoses and all the hidey holes there in the grove of trees behind me. I got to find good spots for all of my soup. Because chunky soup, if I'm not careful, it's going to be nothing but bisque out there. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. The bisque peeper.
Right. The bisque peeper. He might be the key to this whole damn thing.
Well, Archie, this has been a phone call. I do hope you'll call back. We've gotten a lot of calls from all of you this evening with a number of differing viewpoints. And I know I'm thinking about this whole issue differently, and maybe you are too. In fact, I could swing either way. And where that Gator farm gets placed, we won't know until we enter that election booth, pull down on that lever, crank that wheel, and press that button 3 times. Then if the dog barks, we'll know we voted. For what truer decider is there than the power of democracy, steered by those with a clear agenda and plenty of money? That's all for us here at Night Drive this evening. Good morning, Sunbuns, with Tiffany Bunzel takes over at 6 a.m. So until then, here's 5 hours of irritating buzzing that I'm told doesn't have any significant meaning. Until next time, I'm Horace Wexler. Keep night driving. If you enjoy the show, please consider reviewing and giving us 5 stars on iTunes, or telling a friend about us. Night Drive is produced by Michael Truly. The callers were ably played with Gravitas by Ron Babcock, Evan Gaustad, Sean Bury, Clint Gage, and CJ Meeks, with special musical guest Jaleel White in the I'm Not Urkel Band. You can reach the show at nightdrivefm@gmail.com or at 305-209-9686.